Doing a new intro is always way harder than it actually needs to be. So, hi, my name is Cass, and welcome to my new BookTube channel. I thought I would do the BookTube Newbie Tag just to introduce myself to you all and let you know what I bring to the table as far as the world of BookTube. So, I have the questions in front of me. They're on my phone, so I'm just going to go ahead and read them, so if I'm looking down, that is why. So let's get started. Number 1, why did you start this channel? So I actually already have a YouTube channel. It's called At Just a Hawaii Girl or Just a Hawaii Girl. That is a vastly different YouTube channel than what this one is. That one is about handbags. It's a handbag beauty luxury channel, and I really wanted to create a lot of different content that I didn't feel like had a place on that channel. And some of that content included reading, included talking about books, it included journaling, and all that stuff. And I just felt like those two things were completely separate and I wanted to keep them separate. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna go ahead and create a new channel so that way the people who love my handbag videos can keep watching my handbag videos. I'm not going to inundate their subscription feeds with something they don't actually care about. And then I can talk about what I want to talk about on a different channel, and so that way those who are drawn to those kinds of videos can actually come to this place instead of my handbag videos. So that's why I started this BookTube channel. I'm just a gal who reads a ton of books. I am one of those former English degree holders who is here on BookTube, so that's another little thing about me. Number 2, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to BookTube? So, I don't really know. I don't know. I don't want to sound like super douchey. Okay, so that right there, that's a little bit about me. But I feel like I can just bring a different perspective from someone who is not currently a university student, a college student, a high school student, from someone who is a grown woman working a grown-ass job, and I have my own things that I do day to day. I bring that perspective. I've been searching through a lot of different BookTube channels to be able to find other content creators who are also like me, who love to read different kinds of books, all kinds of books, and also have a day job. The other thing that I always love talking about, but I feel like it just doesn't have a place on either of my channels, but I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a martial artist, so if you ever want to talk about martial arts, if you ever want to talk about BJJ, come to me. Number 3, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I love YouTube. I've been on YouTube on my other channel for 3 years now, and I love creating videos. So I just love the idea of being able to talk about something else that I'm interested in, and that's what I'm most excited about, is just like this new venture of content that I'm also interested in and love to talk about. Question number 4 is, why do you love reading? Hopefully this lighting is better. I was getting really annoyed with that lighting before. So why do I love reading? I've always loved reading. I've just always had a book in my hands ever since I was a little kid. There were a couple books actually when I was younger that I would read over and over and over again, and my parents had to tell me, you need to read something different. You need to... You can't keep reading that book all the time. It's just always been something that I've loved. And my grandfather, when I was younger, he would always send me books for my birthday. He's passed away now, but gosh, I must have been 14 years old, and I distinctly remember that my birthday came around and he sent me a gift card instead of a book, and I was crushed. I was absolutely crushed. But just being able to look forward to a new set of books from my grandpa was some of the best memories that I have. So yeah, I've always loved reading, and I think my grandfather helped facilitate that as well. Okay, question number 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? I'm 30 years old, and when I was younger, the books that I gravitated to were The Little House in the Big Woods, The Little House on the Prairie. I grew up in Minnesota, and so The Little House in the Big Woods was just kind of like my fantasy childhood of just different things that Laura Ingalls Wilder did. One of my favorite books, the book that my parents literally told me to stop reading, was Bread and Jam for Francis. Oh gosh, what is the author's name? Francis Hobbs, I think it's the little badger that takes bread and jam for lunch every day. I read that book like every day of the first grade. And then the other book series that I was super into, because when I was like 10, 11, 12. The books that were really popular at that time were The Babysitter's Club, Sweet Valley High, Goosebumps was super huge, but I was really into the Animorphs books, and I read every single new Animorphs book that came out, and my parents, that's another one that they're like, you need to read something else, and they forbade me from reading another Animorphs book again. Okay, number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Hi, what's up? How are you? I'm still kind of like figuring out who my favorite booktubers are. The ones that I've been watching repeatedly are Peter Likes Books. I would just ask if he wanted to hang out because I think he is hilarious. So I watch him. I just started watching the restricted section. I would just ask them where they buy all their beer. Yeah, so I'm still like trying to find like YouTubers and booktubers that I'm going to watch repeatedly. But those are the two that I thought were hilarious. I'm going to keep coming back to them. Okay, number 7 is, what challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? So, like I said, I work a full-time job, and it is, without a doubt, my schedule is always the hardest thing to overcome for me when it comes to filming videos and getting stuff out there on YouTube. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I train 3 times a week, sometimes more. And so during the week, that's always what I'm doing. I'm going to work, I'm coming home, changing, going straight to the gym. So it's going to be my schedule. I try and film as many videos as I can on the weekends, and then give you guys multiple videos throughout the week, so that way you have things to keep coming back to. Now, I know from experience that sometimes I can't always do that just because of the way work is for me and all that stuff. If you look at my handbag channel, sometimes I've gone through spurts without filming, so that'll be something that I'm gonna try and work out with this channel. I think with this channel I'll have a lot more content to be able to produce regularly, so I'm hoping that won't be an issue. Okay, question number 8 is, when did you start reading? Since I was a kid. I told you the Bread and Jam for Francis story, and that was 1st grade. That was a book that I was living for in 1st grade. Question number 9 is, where do you read? I read wherever I can. I read in bed a lot of the time, most of the time. That's one of my favorite places to read. I just tell my husband I'm going into my room, or I'm going into the room, and I'm gonna read. So you can game, you can do whatever you want, I'm gonna read. So I read in my bed, I read on the couch. If I'm at work, I try and read on my lunch break. So depending on how much of a hermit I am, I might read at my desk at work, or if I'm feeling like I wanna get some fresh air, then I'll go outside and I'll read outside. Do you hear that dog? Oh, I just want to snuggle him. I'm sorry that you're having such a bad day. I hate that. Okay. And the final question of the BookTuber Newbie Tag is question number 10. What kind of books do you like to read? So, I love fantasy. I don't necessarily mean young adult fantasy. I will read young adult fantasy as a palate cleanser. So I'm still someone who like repeatedly goes back to those books, but I love fantasy. I love big books. Like, big books do not intimidate me at all. I'll do thrillers, I'll do mystery. Sometimes sci-fi, like, I just don't understand why people put sci-fi and fantasy in the same section in the bookstore, because to me they're not the same kind of thing. But I'll sometimes get into it if the story's really good. I like historical fiction. Sometimes contemporary, and really the contemporary books that I've been into lately are the ones that everybody else is reading, just so that way I can say I've read that one. But for a majority of the time, it's fantasy. For a long time, tried to fight the fact that I had a type, I had a genre, and it was fantasy. And I started trying to read like lots of different things, and then I would get distracted or I'd get into a reading slump. I just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna accept the fact that maybe I'm not meant to be reading all these contemporary books. Like, they just don't do it for me. So I read a lot of fantasy. Okay, so those were all the questions on the BookTuber Newbie Tag. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you got to learn a little bit about me. And like I said, I have another YouTube channel. So if you're into fashion and handbags, which again, like BookTube and fashion are like completely different genres. But if you like watching handbag videos, I do have another channel at Just a Hawaii Girl. So I'll leave the link for that down below. And if you are coming over from my Just a Hawaii Girl channel to this one, What Cass Breads, thank you so much for coming on over. I hope you enjoy this new channel. And you can find me on social media. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, and then I'm also on Goodreads. That's what I'm mostly, you're gonna find all of the like, what am I reading, That's where you're going to find a lot of my reviews. I have never deleted a review, even the bad ones that I've left. So you can find me on Goodreads Goodreads, it's /Cass Burton. So that's how you find me on there. And again, I'll put that in the link below. So thank you again so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy this channel. I hope that you stick around and subscribe. All right, talk to you later. Bye.